Have you ever stopped to think about how a simple gesture, like a wave, can hold so much meaning? Well, today, we're diving into a theory that gets to the very heart of our social lives, explaining everything from that casual wave to our deepest sense of who we are.
Okay, let's start with a scene you've definitely been in. You see someone you know from across the street, you give them a wave, and for a split second, nothing. They don't wave back.
And in that tiny moment, your brain just explodes with questions, right? A whole internal conversation kicks off. Did they see me? Are they mad at me? Oh wait, okay, they have headphones in. See, you're not just acting, you're interpreting. You're sifting through all these social cues to figure out what that one little moment actually means.
That little gap, that space between someone's action and your response, that's exactly where this fascinating theory called symbolic interactionism comes in. It's all about how we, together, build the reality we live in.
So what is it really? Well, think of it this way. It sees society not as some big, rigid structure that's forced on us from the top down. Nope, it says we build society from the ground up. One conversation, one gesture, one single interaction at a time. It's all about creating our social world through these shared symbols.
And here's what makes this theory a real game changer. It argues we aren't just robots who get a stimulus and give a response. It adds this absolutely crucial middle step, interpretation. We see something happen, we think about what it means, and then we respond. That little space for interpretation, that's where our entire social world gets built.
The sociologist who actually gave this theory its name was Herbert Blumer, and he took all these big ideas and boiled them down into 3 core principles. They're surprisingly simple, but trust me, they are incredibly powerful.
So, Blumer said our reality is built on this 3-step process. First, meaning matters. We act based on what things mean to us. Second, that meaning comes from our social interactions. And finally, we're always tweaking these meanings through our own interpretation. Let's break each of those down.
Okay, first up, we act based on meaning. A red light means stop. A chair means sit. A thumbs up means, hey, good job. It's not about the objects themselves, right? It's about the meaning that we've all given to those symbols.
But where in the world do these meanings come from? We're not born knowing them. We learn them. We decide on them together, as a group, through talking and interacting. A chair is for sitting because we all just kind of agreed it is, and we pass that idea along.
And last, and this is so important, these meanings are not set in stone. We are constantly reinterpreting and changing them depending on the situation. I mean, a chair is for sitting until you need to stand on it to change a light bulb, or you need to use it to prop a door open. Suddenly, the meaning changes because the context changed.
The guy who really started it all, George Herbert Mead, he had this great way of describing this internal process. He called it minding, and it's basically just that inner conversation we're always having with ourselves to make sense of the world.
Now, Mead didn't just come up with this out of thin air. He was standing on the shoulders of other thinkers, like Charles Horton Cooley, who gave us the looking glass self, this amazing idea that we see ourselves based on how we think others see us. It's like each thinker added a crucial piece to the puzzle.
After Mead died, his students put his lectures together in a book called Mind, Self, and Society, and it really lays it all out. He saw the mind as our ability to use symbols, the self as our ability to step outside ourselves and see us the way others do, and society is the huge stage where it all happens. The thing is, you can't have one without the other two. They're all totally connected.
So you might be thinking, okay, cool theory from 100 years ago, but why does it matter now? Well, it matters because it might just be the perfect theory to explain our modern digital world, a world that is just flooded with new symbols and new interactions every single day.
Just think about your own social media profile for a second. Every photo you post, every update you write, every friend you tag, you are actively, consciously building an identity for other people to look at and interpret. You're basically performing a version of yourself.
And this theory actually helps us sort out what we're doing. You know, when you jump into a comment section to argue a point, that's your situated identity, reacting to a specific moment. When you post about a new job, that's your personal identity, you're defining who you are. And when you tag all your friends in a group photo, that's your social identity, showing everyone that you belong. But it's not all about likes and follows. This theory also gives us a really powerful way to understand some heavy, complex social issues, like stigma. This is so important. What this shows is that stigma isn't just about a label someone gives you. It's about the meaning that we, as a society, attach to that label.
The fear of how others will see you, that anticipation of being rejected, can be even more powerful and damaging than the condition itself. This is a perfect real-world example of this theory in action.
So if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. You are not just a passive puppet getting pushed around by society's rules. Not at all. You are an active, thinking, co-creator of your social world. Every single conversation, every interaction is a tiny chance to build and rebuild the reality we all share.
And that leaves us with a final, pretty empowering thought. If our world is really just the sum of all our little interactions, and if we're the ones who give symbols their power, then that means we all get a say in what our world looks like. You are an architect of social reality. So the only question left is, what are you going to build next?